Welcome back to Jacob is Here. I am Jacob, and today we're playing The Sims 4. In the entirety of the month of January, we're doing nothing but builds before we jump into Let's Plays for February, which I'm very, very excited about this. This is just me testing out things to get me, super duper excited to be back in The Sims. So February, every month so far this year that I planned out, all are specific towards different things. Get prepared. This month is all about building. I'm sure there will be builds that pop up later on, but this first build of January will be an apartment complex that I call the Jackal Apartments. Mostly because that's what my fiance calls himself a lot, is a jackal. So we have the Jackal Apartments, and I built 5 of them. Originally, I built the apartments with you, and I built several other apartments with you, like the actual complex and stuff. This is having to change because my audio levels were so atrocious that I couldn't edit the videos. So now we're into complete speed build throughout the entire week. But starting tomorrow, there will also be a short of the couples or the people that live in the apartments going up as well. I don't know if they're going to go up before or after the apartments in case you want to check out both. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the Jackal Apartments speed build. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, welcome to the speed build portion. If you see my hair and or me in the background at all, that is just simply because I filmed a bunch of this with me in the footage, and like I said, the audio is just atrocious. I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. So once again, I built this on Orchid Go-Go lot, and so what is it called? I'm a bit tired now since I've done some of those intros. Delso Valley is where it was built on, and I thought that this would be a really good lot to build an apartment building on. One, because I don't really build residential lots in this area, and I feel like it'd be a fun area to live. I built one lot before, or I've lived on one lot before, that transported me over into Sixum with an alien family. That I built a park around a spaceship type of thing. A long time ago. That has to be over, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago. So that was the last big residential lot that I built, and that's the only one. So I guess it's the one residential lot I built in Oasis Springs. And so I figured it'd be really fun, and also this area that it's kind of in, where Orchid Go-Go was originally placed and stuff, it's kind of surrounded by areas that are very similar to this, in the lines of there's other apartment buildings that are not real and things. And so having a real apartment building, I think, really does make a difference. I want a very modernly chic look. It kind of fits the vibe, but it doesn't fully fit the vibe. So I can understand if you want to change some of the outside, but I do have to say, you kind of have to keep most of it, right? That's how I feel. And so it's the new year, by the way. I know, isn't that crazy? And I figured I would take the time to really talk about the channel in this first update video. Let me quickly describe the series that we're doing, which is all about the Jackal Apartments. So the Jackal Apartments are going to be going on for the next 6 days. There's 5 apartments in total, so there'll be 5 speedbuilds in total, plus I have 5 shorts coming out dedicated to a set of people inside the apartments. I tried to work really hard to make those people as unique as possible and as true to them and things. Also, knowing that the world is of Delso Valley, I really had a lot of people kind of move over here and live here and things like that, in that way. And so you'll see a lot of people when we go through some of the speed builds, I'm talking about some of the locations and the reason why this is here, this is there, whatever. When we talk about some of the more in-depth ones, you'll see that we have people who are coming from Mount Crombie, we have people coming from this area, this area, this area type of thing. And that was really important to me. But with that being said, they will have a short that will come out every day that comes out with the build. I don't know if it's going to come out before the build or after the build. I have a strong feeling it'll come out after the build so you can see the people that it was made for, but also that way I can always link the build if possible. It's also going to be called the Jackal Apartments probably series or something along those lines. I don't feel like I will probably put them in a single playlist unless that is of interest to you guys. Let me know in the comments, and then I can obviously do that. I just have 1,000 playlists on my channel as it is, so that's part of the reason why I've opted not to do it. But I do have a strong feeling that I will probably do something under the lines of, I'm trying to think. I'll probably do something to where they're all linked down below, so you can always get to them and that type of thing, because that makes more sense in my head. I don't know. Either way, with that being said, continuing onwards. So that's what this is. That's what the whole thing here is about. these are the Jackal apartments, which I really like. I really liked how they turned out. They're very modern, very me, but I won't lie, creating all these characters, figuring out backstories for them, it made me really want to play here. I don't think I am going to play here, but I do think I'm going to take some time off from my current household. Just the simple fact that, like, I'm not... I guess we'll talk about it, but we're not going to directly talk about it just yet. But let's discuss some other stuff, right? Let's discuss the channel. The reason why you're here, obviously. I mean, you're here for the speed build. For apartments, sorry, before we jump into some channel stuff, because apartments is relatively new, building apartments and stuff. I know there's been quite a few videos on it. It's pretty simple. I found it to be very easy to build a layout. I thought maybe it'd be more complicated, but it's really simple. The diagrams are super simple. It's obviously limitless. I think some of the big complaints here is I really do think they should have enabled elevators. Elevators would have made so much of a difference. I can't even explain to you how much an elevator in an apartment building would make so much of a difference. And I do think it's a missed opportunity for builds that are not custom content. Because I know there's mods out there that you can do to kind of warp your game to allow them to have elevators. But, like, for instance, like, if I'm putting trash bins and stuff in the hallways, which I don't think I did, might be something you might want to add. I'm going to use the ones that come as a part with City Living because they're the best. I mean, I use those sometimes in my normal houses. Like, they're just the best trash cans. Just because they're, like, super simple and it's less work and things. And so I just find it to be the most efficient, in my opinion. And so, like, if I can do all these different things, like, for the mailboxes or whatever it might be, allow me to use the elevator. I don't understand why that's such a big deal. We can't woohoo in the elevator, which is fine. And I'm not even asking for, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a rabbit hole as it is. Let me use my rabbit hole, I guess. I don't know. That's my one complaint. I know there's people who have found ways to build on waterfronts, in case that's something that interests you. I do think there's a big missed opportunity for a waterfront type of thing, especially because of the way the rooms, the rents, and all that stuff kind of, like, settles out by the end. You could totally run a hotel without running a hotel in this game without a problem. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's doing it as we speak right now. You can totally do it. It's very possible. Be careful with your saves. I've heard they get kind of buggy, but it's very, very possible for you to run a complete hotel. Do I think the management system is off the charts? I haven't really played with it, so I got no comment. We'll be playing with it this year over on Twitch, which I'll quickly shout out Twitch. I think starting tomorrow, I'm going to be back to streaming on Twitch. At this very moment in time, until I get a job, which hopefully soon. I want to be a part of the working class super pronto, in my opinion. The sooner the better. But until then, we'll be streaming every day, and then once I get a job, we'll work around my job schedule, obviously. Trying to think of some other big things. I have a few shared spaces. They're bigger here. They do get dramatically smaller once, like, when we jump into the... what is that called? The tour at the very end. You'll see it gets dramatically smaller. But I wanted a gym. I always like a gym in an apartment complex. And so we have a little bit of a gym. There's a pool outside with a like a grill and things, which I think is really fun. We have some staircases, which makes sense because, like I said, if I could put, like, do you know how much easier this would be if I could just, like, put an elevator? I'm sorry. I'll jump off it. Originally, I really liked the idea of doing some type of shared, like, laundry room. I still think it's a cool idea. I just didn't think this would end up being the right apartment complex. You're going to see by the end of this video, I do keep the shared laundry room. It's gone by the end, by the time we do the tour. And things like that as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to cover before I can jump into other things. I guess if they pop up along the way, we'll talk about it. There is one apartment that doesn't have a balcony. I try to give everybody a balcony, but the apartment, it's a shared apartment. We'll get to it towards the end of this week. It's just so small. Like, that balcony, I think it's that back balcony. I just had to cut it. I needed the space for the room. It's just what it happens to be. I try to do different, what are those called? Foundation types. And I think I did a good job there. The apartments I do think are spacious. I will not lie. This looks like a lot of room to me. Like, especially when I was building, I was like, oh my god, is this too much room? I made certain apartments smaller. like throughout the whole process, it is not too much room. Honestly, if I would make one change, I would say make it just a little bit bigger, because I didn't really understand how much space is on the inside, especially trying to do. I mean, originally I think I was aiming for 4, and then I broke up the 2 because I wanted 2 smaller ones, and I mean, it worked in the end. I liked how it all turned out. Really, one smaller one, like that front smaller one on the second floor. It's beautiful. I can't wait to show you. But either way, I'd also like to mention before we jump into the last little bit of this time, everything is up on the gallery. Everything should be up on the gallery very simply, and things. Yeah, everything should be up on the gallery. All the Sims should be up on the gallery. Obviously, I think I called them like the stereotypes that I portray them as in the apartments. So like you have to wait and see which apartments they go to, but it could be kind of fun for you to place the apartment complex, which I do use a lot of packs. And that is something that we're going to be experimenting with throughout the weeks in January and a little bit into February about not using all the packs and things like that. Are there 2 packs that you want me to like really dive into and just use those 2 packs? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to do it. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the channel. Okay, so I wasn't really sure where we stood with Sims 2 in the new year. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been half tempted to put this channel on a complete pause. Honestly, the only thing that's really not, like, the only thing that's, like, really stopped me from doing that is the fact that I want to see Mindy's, like, entire life played out. And then I feel like maybe I could take a little bit of a break from Sims 2 entirely. There's a few reasons for this. One, I kind of just felt out of love making content for Sims. I was very heavy into it for a portion of last year, and then I guess Curling Terror came out, and like it kind of just ruined some of my love, and I didn't really like a lot of the storylines that were going on with Mindy, which were created by me for sure. But I don't think the channel, like I don't think it was evolving fast enough, and I also think calling Mindy's second season for Birth to Death, which is not called Birth to Death Season 2, growing together, I also think kind of hurt me because I felt more like clustered into that one single pack, which I thought was a good pack. Do not get me wrong, I gave it great reviews, and I still do kind of stand to that like review format that I had for that pack when that came out, but it did kind of feel limiting, and I think that's where the problem's laid. I also, I never really sat down to build as much as I wanted to last year. I had plans, and I just didn't end up accomplishing those plans for one reason or the other. And I don't know if I'll accomplish those plans this year. I have plans. But this year, I think we're going to be a little more experimental on the channel. We'll see what ends up working for everybody. So do let me know as we go through the months which one's your favorite, which one you enjoy the most. I will have to say I'm a little bit nervous about it just because, like, once I get my groove back, I think we can start doing the mix and matching and being like, oh, we'll do speed build Saturday and like let's play Monday or something along those lines. The lighting in this place was kind of interesting, ain't gonna lie, but that's okay. It happens. I'd also like to mention I did put this like little room up here in the tour. I explain why that room is the way the room is. So I'm not gonna explain here, but I do talk about it in case you're interested why the choices I made were the choices I made. I haven't really played with apartments like in the for rent space, so I really don't know what the type of shared spaces look like, and so that's also part of the reason why this looks like the way it does. But back to the channel. So I wanted to experiment for the first few months of the year to like really deep dive into figuring out what makes me want to do Sims. For instance, for the moment, this will probably end up changing as well. Throughout the year, it could be changing sooner than later. I really don't know. For the moment, I'm a full-time Sims streamer. I'm going to change my avatar back to my Sims avatar over on Twitch, so people understand that I am just a Twitch streamer for Sims content. This is just simply because I feel like the more content I consume in The Sims, the more I get more excited to play The Sims and more happy about The Sims. It took a long time off. I stopped watching a lot of people that I watched, and I do have a hard time jumping back into that. I don't know if anybody else has that issue or anything. I find that certain content creators are super fun to binge, but then once you start watching them weekly, they're not as fun to watch, and so you have to wait a few weeks. And I've come to that issue with a few of my faves. Let me know if that's the same for you, and it could be the same, like maybe that's what you are for my content. You like have like quite a few episodes, and then you just sit down and you watch like 14, but then you don't watch the next 14, which I feel like it's fair. I do the same, especially in different formats, especially for reading vlogs. I do, oh my gosh, I stockpile that stuff. But either way, also I got really into booktube, and I really like making booktube content, and I'm still going to be really making booktube content for my movie channel, which I had with my brother. We didn't really do much on last year either. We did stuff, but nothing to like be like, oh, I can't work over here. And so this year, like in January and a little bit of February, it's all about builds and building and trying to figure out, is that the space I want to be in? Then we're going to do February and a little bit into March, trying to finish Mindy's Life completely. We're going to try to run through both those last 2 seasons, and we'll see if that ends up working out. And then after that, I have a few ideas, such as like a whole entire month where I'm just uploading like mod reviews and seeing what that does. I would not be surprised. I'm just going to be honest with you, if there's like 1 month in here where I'm just uploading shorts and seeing what that does. Mostly playing around with somewhat of the algorithm, but also playing around with what you guys want to see. So the more you like, the more you comment, the more you watch, the more happier, and the more likely you'll get that content. Mindy is the only thing, but if Mindy's Let's Play ends up not doing very well, it'll probably be a while before you see Let's Plays on the channel. Speedboat is actually ending. Let's go ahead and jump into that tour. Alright, I want to come in here and do a quick little tour. I will have to say some things are probably different from the speed build just because I changed some of the outside exterior as I was doing the apartment, and also some shared spaces. This is what the apartments look like. I think I mentioned it probably in the speed build, but it is set in downtown Del Sol Valley. The apartment complex should be already up on the gallery in case you guys want to download it early and get a little bit of sneak peek of what's to come and things. We're not just building apartments this month, do not worry, but this entire week we are, and a little bit of next week as well. We have 1 extra apartment to do at the very end. We'll do the biggest one next week. That being said, you walk up the front doors. There's a little bit of a sign out here. Then we have some mailboxes and we go into the front door. But if you come out here to the side, there are some things for animals, as almost all the animals, all the apartments are pet friendly. We have some like hopscotch stuff on this side, and then some trees and things and a basketball court on this side. But if we go into the bottom floor, ignore the grayed out spaces. There are apartments that are built. Obviously on this side, there is an apartment. The door placements, I think for this one changed for the apartment as the time goes on, just because. And then we have this like little book area, this like just random area. There is a very small little gym that's all we can really afford, and then a place for the heater, and then also the electrical. I did eventually take out the laundry unit just because I didn't really see a point to it. Then you come on back here to the outside. So the way the outside works, this area is a shared space, just like these inner areas are shared spaces, but this area and this area are connected to whatever the apartment that it is. I felt like it made the most sense for me to have everybody have some type of balcony, and so that was kind of the plan there. Then we have the pool area, which is quite simple, and like a very simple bar down here as well, or a grill. There is no bar out here, most because like there's a few bars throughout the actual like complex, but not available to just like daily drink. Then we have the upstairs. The upstairs looks like this, very, very simple. And then I did want to go up one so we can have like a nook area. This can change into like a TV area. I felt like Sims would gravitate towards the space too much, and so that's why I chose books and like a little thing, because I think this could be a good place to meet your Sims. But I don't think you want your Sims constantly up here, so I think that's part of the reason why I didn't go that space. Out here, I never knew really what to do with, and so it's kind of just here, so there's that. And up here, I do plan eventually to put a garden up here. Hopefully it's up there before the build is up on the gallery for you guys. But if not, feel free to add your own personal garden. That's kind of what the space was originally used for. If you think of something else that you want to use for it and different, go right ahead. I also put a billboard up here because I felt like we're in downtown, Del Sol Valley. I feel like they would be very much like promoting different things. The star walk up stars and stuff is all down there. But that's the apartment complex, the entire thing. That's our little tour. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I had a lot of fun making it. I had a lot of fun building all these apartments. Once again, over the course of the next month or so, we'll have a mixture of build with me and speed builds and any type of other build you think you might want to see. But I wanted to build my first ever apartment complex. I know I also want to build like a duplex and things, and so there's a few other things for rent that I haven't got to test around and play with that I'm really excited about. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys all next time for another beautiful video. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.